Narcissistic partners make no better parents, friends, siblings, co-workers, bosses than they do partners. When somebody has that sense of entitlement, the lack of empathy, the exploitative nature, envious of others, arrogant enough to believe they are always in the right, to believe that they are special, it is who they are as a person. They only change who they are depending on who they are around to sell people an illusion so that they can get their needs met. They only play nice to look good so that they can get their needs met. And when a child is raised by a narcissistic individual, it has so many detrimental implications on the child's mental health as well as physical health. A child who is often and repeatedly let down by their parents, because life can get in the way. A parent can break a promise now and again and then take responsibility, take ownership, apologise to the child and make it up to them in some way. A narcissistic individual will repeatedly break promises and then rationalise and justify and shift the blame onto anyone other than themselves. And the child learns not to trust in other people's words. The child learns that they can't rely on other people. When it comes to narcissistic parents, they train their children not to ask for anything. They make out that their children are asking for too much. And often the child becomes overly independent, doesn't rely on other people for fear of being accused of asking for too much or being selfish or being demanding. A child whose feelings were mocked and dismissed and criticised and overlooked and being gaslighted into being told that they were being too sensitive, sharing good news and their parent taking the credit, sharing bad news and their parent saying how they've suffered far worse. Repeatedly. Not just now and again, not just the child has got so much and he's just having one of those days and complaining what they haven't got, and the parent just has enough and says, I had nothing when I was growing up. You're very lucky. Not a one-off, not a now and again. This is a repeat pattern of behaviour. When the feelings are constantly dismissed, the child learns not to tell anyone anything. On the flip side, when someone is willing to open up, they can just spill everything. A child who is constantly criticised and gaslighted and blamed and shamed and has every single mistake they make highlighted and mocked and judged, often then finds it difficult to actually be able to do things for themselves out of fear of failure. So if they want to achieve something, they will back down out of the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of criticism from others because they received it from their very own parents. A child who is continually gaslighted will often be full of self-doubt of who they are as a person. A child who had a parent who continually fell silent on them whenever they didn't make the right decision will often grow up to find it very difficult to make some of the most simplest of decisions in life out of fear of reactions from others. A child who is rejected and criticised and shut down often becomes socially isolated and withdrawn and full of anxiety due to walking on eggshells within the home. Sometimes a child's symptoms isn't due to the child's mental health problems as such, but due to the child's situation around certain individuals that's creating those mental health problems in the child.